Hi, and welcome to Wendy Ray's Idol Recap. Well, I missed you last week. I hated that I was not there for the top four and wasn't able to talk to you about how Casey beat out Mike. That was crazy. I never thought in a million years it would have been happening. If you would have heard my recap, I would have said Casey's going home, but I wish it was Mike. And the fact that it was the other way around, I was sitting in my hotel room screaming like a banshee when it happened. I was so excited that Casey made it into the top three. As you remember, he is my hometown boy. Now, speaking of the top three, this is my dream three. This is my favorite three of the whole season. Crystal has been my favorite since day one. And you know, I love me some Casey because he's so hot. I mean, ever since his very first audition when he was in Denver, I was just all over that, if you remember correctly. And Lee has grown on me and become, as you know, one of my favorites. Now, if I had to put them in 1 to 3, I'm going to say Crystal would be my favorite. Casey would be my second favorite, and Lee would be my third favorite in that order. However, after last night's show, things have changed for me, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Casey started off the show, and he sang, "Okay, It's All Right With Me." I was a little bit disappointed. I love him. I think he's great. I think that he was off key a little bit most of the song. And I agree with the judges. This just wasn't the right song. You are at the point where it's a make it or break it, honey, especially going up against the two faves, Lee and Crystal. You've really got to bring it. And I think he should have picked a song that everybody knew, and nobody knew this song. So I don't think that did him any justice. And then I don't think he did a great job with it. He was smiling really big and thought that he did amazing. But I think when he watches it back, he's going to be a little bit more disappointed. He's probably not going to be smiling as much. I did think it was weird that Simon was comparing it to salad. What is up with that? That's such a ridiculous analogy, but that's just my opinion. Next up was Crystal Bowersox. She sang "Come to My Window," and I loved it when Ryan said, what are you going to do out there? And she says, "I'm just going to have fun." I thought that was an excellent answer. This was classic Crystal, but there was something about it I didn't like, and I really couldn't put my finger on it. And after Randy said, I didn't like the arrangement, that's when I went, you know what? I bet that's it. I bet that's my problem as well. That the arrangement I wasn't excited about. But I thought she did a good job. I thought she sounded great and looked even more amazing. Lee DeWise came up next and sang "Simple Man." And, he's got that little crooked smile that just is melting my heart every time I see him. What a precious little thing he has turned into be. And I thought he had some pitch problems throughout the song, but his performance was so awesome that I didn't care. I adored it. By far my favorite of the night at that point. And I'm really, really glad that the judges gave him some kudos for such a great and amazing performance. Awesome. I mean, he did awesome. Then they were getting ready to go to the break, and they showed Kara and Casey. And I don't know if you noticed, but Kara looked like she was going to wet her pants. I mean, she was so excited about Casey touching her and stuff. It almost made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Then they came back from the break, and they had Ryan and Randy and Kara and Simon all together in a little group, and Ellen just kind of sitting down. And she almost looked pitiful, didn't she? I mean, she looked like she was sad, like I'm not part of the group, and it made me feel really bad for her. So I hope that Ellen's okay after that. Casey James was first up on the judge's choice, and Randy and Kara picked "Daughters" for him, and what an amazing song choice. I don't think it could have been more perfect. Great, great song choice. And Kara told him, sing to your target market. That's ladies and girls, and that's what he did. He sang to the ladies and girls because I loved this performance. I thought he sounded great. I thought he looked great. I loved the emotion of it. I liked the electric guitar solo. I mean, I loved the whole thing. And my son, who is obviously not a lady or a girl, said, "I don't like it." So obviously, Casey was doing exactly what Kara told him to, and he was singing to his target market. And I think that's where his votes are going to come from anyway, so that's who he needed to be singing to. Next up was Crystal, and she sang "Maybe I'm Amazed," and this was the song that Ellen picked for her. Now, this is an awesome song. Great, great song. Love it. Think it's an amazing song. I don't know that it did Crystal any justice, and it was a little bit weird to me that they didn't pair Ellen up with maybe Randy or Kara, who had some music experience. I mean, that's like having me pick the song. I love music, but seriously, I don't know anything about it, so me picking the song would be stupid, and I think that was a little bit ridiculous that she picked her song, and I'm not sure that it was right for her. Everybody went crazy about it. The judges thought that Crystal was awesome and wonderful. I wasn't a big fan of it. She sounded great, but I think my problem was that it wasn't Crystal. It wasn't my classic Crystal. And although, you hear the judges say, change it up, do something different, but Crystal, they've always said, you've remained true to yourself, and that's what's good about you. And I think that's why I didn't like it, because it wasn't classic Crystal, and that's the Crystal that I love. I love when she's doing her stuff. I mean, being herself. And I don't think that was her. I don't think that was something that she would pick, and that's not something she would do. So I think that's why I had a little bit of an issue with Crystal's performance. Lee closed out the show with Simon's choice of Alleluia. Now, big shocker that Simon picked Lee's song for him. I'm telling you, I think that Simon has the biggest crush on Lee. I mean, he was looking at him either like he had a crush on him or like that was his son. That's how I look at Austin when he's up there acting or he's swimming or something. I mean, I look at my son with this I love you look, and that's how Simon was looking at Lee when Lee was performing. It just made me laugh. But amazing song choice. And look, I'm speechless. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Wow. It was phenomenal. I had goosebumps. I got teary-eyed. I thought Lee just poured his whole heart out there on the stage. And I'm going to tell you what, Lee might have won this whole thing based on last night's performances. I mean, he touched people that I don't even think were Lee fans. He was phenomenal. He was unbelievable. And like I said, things have changed. And I told you Crystal was my number 1 and Lee was my number 3 of the 3. Only, for really stupid reasons, to be honest with you. But Lee has shot up to number 1. He is my absolute fave, and I think he could win it. I really think he could take it all the way. And I'm really proud of his performances last night. So, who was my favorite? Duh, Lee. Who was my least favorite? You may be surprised that it was Crystal. I just wasn't real excited about her performances. She's so good, but I guess I expected more from her last night, and so that's why she's my least favorite. Who do I think's going home? Just as everybody thinks, it's Casey. I mean, seriously, we've predicted that it was going to be a Lee Crystal finale all season long, and sure enough, here we are. Casey's going home tonight, and it's going to be a Lee Crystal finale next week. And that's all I have to say about that. Do I think there could be some sort of crazy surprise? Maybe. If there is, it'll be Crystal going home, not Lee, and it'll be 2 guys once again in the finale, as we've had for the last 2 seasons. But I don't think that's the way it's going to be. I really do think Casey's going to go home, and we will see Crystal and Lee duke it out next week for the title. And I'm excited to say that I will be with you tomorrow to do a recap of tonight's results show, and I will be with you next week for both the performance night and the results night, and I will be able to recap those as we close out the season. Wow, can you believe it's over? It just seemed like yesterday we were having our first audition show. Anyway, I hope that you guys have an amazing evening. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, hugs and make it a great day. Bye-bye.